Thank you very much, guys. And I am indeed standing by with the AD carry, Name. First off, you guys built up a strong advantage here very early. How come it took kind of long for you guys to close this game out?
好，那美想请问你一下，其实你们队伍在前期就已经有蛮大的领先，那为什么这个比赛打了这么久才结束？
因为有一波在上路由于交流失误吧，然后导致我们死掉了3个到4个人头，然后就是让他们打回了一些局势吧。然后所以后面由于机器人的原因，我们也不太敢就是过于冲塔那种，因为会有机器人这种英雄，如果你追得很深，会导致很危险这种。
Okay, so basically we have one team fight that we lost on the top lane, and we died around 3 to 4 players, and I'm not so sure. But for that fight, we actually get them that HQ got some advantage back. Like so, we weren't like so sure about our economy lead, so we weren't able to do some risky moves like diving. So it kind of make it long.
I see. Well, you had a great game. How have you managed the high expectations that were surrounding your play here from both the Chinese scene and the foreign scene?
大家都知道，其实 EDG 是中国一线战队。那中国的不管是观众或是队伍，都对你们很大的支持。那你想必也会有很大的期待。那怎么样面对中国跟来自海外粉丝观众的期待呢？
尽我们最大努力走到最后吧，希望我们能进决赛。
I'll just do my best and hope we can make it to the championship.
Well, as you guys said, it is the most important thing to get out of groups. Yet, last game on Sunday is that rematch versus Samsung White. What can you show us versus Imp this time around?
OK， 所以礼拜天最后一场比赛，你们要对上三星白。那你们会怎么对上 Imp 跟 Meta 呢？
我们就是尽力而为吧。
We'll just do our best.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Congratulations. Let's kick it back over to the guys at the desk.
Thank you very much, Sharks. Another game, another correctly predicted one from the analyst desk. First things first, I want to talk about the mid lane matchup. Prolly, the Talon into Zed, you really didn't like that for picks and bans.
I was really upset about that. I mean, the sad thing is I learned how bad that matchup was in solo queue. It's not even possible in competitive when the other player is, knowledgeable about this matchup. And the biggest power spike in that matchup for Zed comes when they hit 6. Because it turns into an ult chicken, but with Zed with a huge advantage. If Zed ever ults first, he can probably still win that. If Talon ults first, he instantly dies to Zed. So there's almost... I don't see any way to win that matchup unless you get, I don't know, maybe jungle camped, some kind of big external factor to change the way that lane goes.
Well, talking about jungle camping, we've seen another Chinese Rengar.
Yep.
I'm going to choose my words here. Despite Insec being Korean, he's playing on the Chinese server, Chinese teams. The only other person that has pulled out Rengar was Wins to a very lackluster performance. No other team's doing it yet. But again, another very powerful, strong Rengar play. I mean, Freak, what do you think of that?
Yeah, this is interesting to see the regional differences, basically. In North America, it was copying the, I'm blanking on the name, the Dandy build, right, which is Madrids into Cutlass into CDR into Tank. And I don't know if I love the high damage Reckless Rengar builds, which is Finisher, Feral Flare, grab a Cutlass, grab a Brutalizer, build Squishy until 35 minutes in, where maybe you grab a Randuin's. I feel like that's too risky. But I guess we'll have to see. They're making it work, but it's an easy group is the problem.
Yeah, I'm skeptical that the insect build that we saw that was like Flare into Yomu's Ghostblade is actually going to work out in terms of higher level play if they were against a more challenging opponent that you weren't so convinced that you were just going to assassinate immediately.
I just wonder if you're going to see more Rengar once Lee Sin and Kha'Zix are going to be entered into the bans, because usually both make it through. One team pick up one, the other team will pick up the other, but this time Lee Sin was banned, Kha'Zix is early picked, and then what's left as an answer really? Yeah, there's Rengar and then maybe Elise, but Elise doesn't really spike at 6 anymore, and these like most junglers have been relatively passive, so once they hit level 6, you're just so far behind as is an Elise, so I don't even know what other junglers are going to be picked.
Well, the thing is, I actually feel like we're seeing less engaged junglers than we're sort of supposed to strategically. Like, I do understand why Kha'Zix is good, I understand why Rengar is good and all this, but like, I feel like we're missing all the Vys and the Jarvans that are still incredibly good, still good damage, decent duelist, but actually good at ganking junglers. And especially when we see so many mid lane focused matchups, you grab a champion like Kha'Zix, who doesn't have the best ganks, whereas when we saw like Gilius's Jarvan, he actually had some good things going for him, and I'm just sort of surprised to see less gank-focused junglers, basically.
Yeah, and in terms of rounding out the pack too, we've seen a little Nunu, but no Nocturne yet. And a lot of the Korean teams do, in fact, like to play Nocturne.
Group C or D might have...
Watch has been playing it in Najin White Shield, so this is another pick that we may see come up.
And it could also be something as saving their picks, maybe. Playing the standard ones in the group stages if you don't need to pull those out. But we'll see how that goes. Let's talk a little bit about the standings, because another day of matches have been consigned to the history books. Let's pull up that graphic and see where the teams are placed. We are exactly halfway through both Group A and Group B. We're going to keep this graphic up for a little while as we look at Samsung White 3-0, Edward Gaming 2-1. In the Davids and Goliaths group, we really feel there's not much chance of HQ or Dark Passage really taking games off these top teams.
There is really no surprise here. Exactly what people thought would happen ended up happening.
And I actually want to bounce off what you said a second ago, quick shot about these teams hiding their picks, because actually back at All-Star 2013, Rapid Star, I believe, was the All-Star mid laner for Korea, and he played mid lane Kennen every single game just to make teams think he cared about Kennen, so he could bring out his real champions when they played the Chinese All-Star team in the finals.
It was Ambition, but yeah.
Ambition, sorry, thank you, the other.
Now, let's talk Group B, because this is the interesting one for me. Starhorn Royal Club 3-0, Team Solomid 2-1, TPA 1-2, SK Gaming 0-3. SK gets Sven Skeren back tomorrow. TPA and TSM going to be looking at who's going to get that next matchup between them. And there's a possibility that second place could be up for grabs.
Yeah, there is an outside shot that we have a three-way tie for second place if SK Gaming can win all three of their games, and we can see TPA kind of take out TSM. Now, realistically, I think SK Gaming is probably going to lose to Royal Club, but they can still play the spoiler here, and that's what's so interesting, is that this now full-power SK Gaming could, in fact, knock somebody out of that second seed.
Well, there's actually two ways it can go. They can still lose to Royal Club. They just need TPA to beat TSM. Just kind of flip the group around, you've got a three-way tie. Or, yes, they beat Royal Club. Then they're actually in control of their own destiny. They can go 3-3 and just be a likely second-place auto berth.
It's going to be an interesting one to talk about. Prolly, what's your take after seeing TPA, TSM, SK? Is there room for these upsets? I mean, we still feel Royal Club are the favorites, but they were pushed super hard today by an SK squad with a sub.
It has been touched on a lot these last couple of days, but I think Switzerland coming back into the team is going to kind of light a fire. They're going to look at their losses and go, we could have won that game. And I think when he comes back in, they are going to kind of bring it back in the group stage. TPA, on the other hand, I don't see them really clawing back in this stage. And TSM, I think, is just going to keep getting stronger.
I want to ask Crepo, after seeing TPA and some of the mistakes and problems they've had, full strength SK with Sven, who scrimmed with them in Korea, will they be able to punish TPA's mistakes?
I think definitely SK will rise above TPA. I think once they got Lee Sin away from wins, it just all started like crumbling down. TPA just, they have some good elements in there, but we saw their bot lane just didn't punish or didn't use the windows of opportunity they had. Their mid game calling wasn't good. Their some rotations were good, but then something was lacking every time, and I think SK will come back with a new passion. They want to perform, they want to show the world, hey, we made it to Worlds for a reason. If you go back to European playoffs, they actually were a good team strategically. They have this very unique style that Monty highlighted as well, and I think Svenskeren is definitely gonna come to play if his mental capacity is stable, because a lot of things happen. If he's coming in calm and the crowd is not going to be against him too much, then maybe, but it'll be a factor.
I like the fact you do highlight Monty talking about SK, because before the suspension, you actually had SK to make it out the groups. After seeing the teams, having some insight and knowing some of the mathematical possibilities, if you were given the chance to change your prediction of the top two in this group, do you think SK would feature?
I mean, no, not now. They've lost too many games. I mean, if I were to say they were going to get second place in the group, I wouldn't have thought they would have beaten Starhorn Royal Club at all. So, assuming that they're going to lose again, the best they can do is 2-4.
And then they rely on TPA to beat TSM, which again seems like is not going to happen. You guys all predicted TSM to win the matchup the first time. Looks like it's not going to change again. So yeah, mathematically, and again assuming TSM beats TPA, then there's no chance for SK.
Well, we'll see how that works out. And it's I don't actually know when their game is. It's coming up fairly soon. Regardless, we'll get to that a little bit later. It is now time for a lesson in the League of Legends etiquette, the jungler style, in a segment that we introduced yesterday. And it has got a lovely title of Thank You Very Much. First one is going to be SK versus TPA. This was a tower dive. Freak, do you want to talk me through this one? It was pretty heavy.
Yeah, so they try really hard. It's the flash EQ ulti. Right here, we don't need the flash crescendo from Sona, but this is actually why I like champions like Jarvan, is you can just force kills.
Yeah, that's
and
for sure.
Sometimes you snowball an Ahri because of it.
Worked out very well. We got another one. This is going to be a very aggressive Rengar dive from Edward Gaming. Clearlab, he's going all in.
Yeah, there's pretty much nothing they can do. They cancel Absolute Zero there with Janna. Kog'Maw's not being touched. I mean, at this point, the game was very far ahead. You saw Orianna cutting down immediately as well. It is basically cleanup. They were even contemplating on teleporting. It was like, yeah, let's just have 3 people die instead of 4. So at this point, the game's over. But I do like the Rengar ganks, just well executed.
Really, really strong Rengar play from Clearlab. This is a nice one from Amazing, because he's going to set himself up to counter gank wins in what ends up being a no gank you in return. Monty?
Yeah, and the no gank you here is really a mistake from TPA. Actually, they had just seen Amazing clearing out the pink ward behind the red buff, and so they should have known he was topside.
Yeah, somebody needs to give Clearlab another high five, because just more kills being racked up for this Rengar play.
This is kind of what happens when you've got an over-aggressive team. AHQ, I still don't love the Blitzcrank pick for them, and I think they tried a little bit too hard to make plays when I think they could have relied a little bit on individual skill and less on cheeky, really risky picks.
It was good spacing from Name on Twitch, though. He definitely dodged that hook. If he got caught there, it could have been like a 1 for 2, but he knew he was safe. You know, he knew his team could clean up, and just a well set up gank. Rengar and Thresh is so annoying to play against, especially when you play something like Blitzcrank, where you feel forced to make the move, so you'll constantly be walking forward, and then you realize, oh, they have an invisible jungler. Maybe I made a small mistake.
Yeah. I think the Blitz pick goes back to they're not confident as a team versus the others. They kind of think they have a disadvantage skill-wise, so they're going for this Blitz pick that not many people practice against.
Well, we'll see. It didn't work out today, unfortunately. Yeah. Guys, tomorrow we will be bringing you another full day of matches, and here's who's going to be going head-to-head. Up first, it will be David and Goliath, the Samsung White versus Dark Passage, followed by SK Gaming at full strength, taking on the Starhorn Royal Club. Then HQ eSports Club will battle it out with Samsung White, and will round out the 6-game day with SK Gaming versus the Taipei Assassins. Those matches will begin on Saturday at 2 a.m. Pacific, which is 11 a.m. Central European Summer Time. I'd like to thank our special guest Analist for sharing their expertise with us today, and for myself, the casters, the entire world's broadcast team, thank you so much for watching. We will see you back here tomorrow.
Yesterday was epic, but I think today is going to be just amazing.
That's going to be Gilius that picks it up, but SK take a very low in the pin here. Candy Panda jumps back in, but it's TPA coming out on top. Have they got the damage? They damn well have.
And now they might go down as well. Solo finish from the red. With the TP!
By the way, this guy's insect, so flash before he can insect you.
Jez has locked up the ultimate coming out of Candy Panda, but he's just forced back onto the mountain and taken down by Uzi. He is just that strong.
This is going to be some amazing matches, and it's already started the day off crazy. A little bit of brush control is going to be good for this one. Double kill coming in for Imp. He keeps the shot coming. The triple kill for Imp. Looking for the quad.
They want to give him the
and they are going to get it. Yeah. The pentakill to come in for Imp. Pentakill!
World Championship 2014, my bro.
Jay gonna be looking for a solar flare. It locks down Dyrus, but he's already got the equalizer damage out. Zanya's across the board. You're looking good, gentlemen. That's gonna be a lockdown from you, and they just surprised AHQ, and it looks like it's gonna be the Nexus for EDG.